Hi, I'm Stephen Vizinczey, and I'm going to talk today about Dangerous Liaisons. The first great French novel of the 18th century, written in the form of letters, but more importantly, it contains the first fictional discovery, the first time that the discovery was put in fiction, that we do not understand our own feelings. And that was a very important discovery. And even today, this is of extreme significance, and today it is truer than it ever was. I already told you that, and I can't repeat it often enough, that when you pick up a classic novel, it doesn't matter what century was it written. You will find familiar characters. The characters in a novel are close to you, not according to the century it was written, not according to the country whose characters appear in the book, but according to the talent of the author. If you read a great author, a great writer about Timbuktu, from Timbuktu, you will find the characters in it nearer to you than your neighbors, because they can portray people, great writers can portray people in a way more profoundly so that you recognize them. The universal human traits which every kind of character appears is more evident in people, in characters who were portrayed by great writers. It's just like with scientific discoveries. It doesn't matter who and where invented or discovered something. What matters is what he invented or discovered was true. And this is this kind of book. The great thesis of this book, which make you familiar to it, this is about people who do not know their feelings. And it is said we reason what we feel, but we often don't know what we feel, and we reason wrongly. The central character of this book is a victim, a baron, a French baron, who seduces a woman, a 22-year-old woman, and whom he actually loves, but goaded by a vicious woman, a Marquis. She goaded into thinking that he couldn't possibly love that woman, and and so to prove it to himself is that he isn't really engaged and involved. He destroys this woman, and only after he destroys her does he realize that he loved her. And so it's a tragic story.
It's not the only tragedy. That's probably the main tragedy in the book, what happens to the Marquis. But there are other casualties and deaths, like the young couple, Cécile. Behind, the Marquis persuades Valmont to seduce a young girl of only 15 and 16 who has fallen in love with a music tutor, and they love each other. This is young love, it's fresh young love, and it's sincere. But the Marquis de Meanness is absolutely set on destroying it, and her reason is that the young girl's intended husband, chosen by her mother, is a man who has spurned the Marquis in the past. He's left her for another woman, so she's intent on revenge. So she persuades Valmont to seduce this young girl who's totally innocent and loves another young man, which he does. But that the motive for that is vengeance. She is a very, as you use the word vicious, that's an appropriate word for her, because she is vile. One of the themes in the novel, because it is a novel, series of letters, is love, but it's the destruction of love. It's the destruction of love, young love, and of course, as you say, Valmont does not realise that he loves the Marquis, not the Marquis, sorry, the Durand, yes, until it is too late.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of tragedy. But
well, the Marquis is a very modern character and more common and more better known today than at the time. The Marquis destroys a man claiming that that he raped her simply because he had left her, and the man loses his position, his rank, and she's triumphant.
This is Prévent. This is Monsieur de Prévent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she sets him up. They make love, and as soon as they climax, she rings a bell, and the servants come, and the police come in, and he's imprisoned. And as you quite rightly say, her reason for setting this guy up is because he left her for another woman. And in the letters, Valmont fully supports her. He supports her cunning ways to trap this guy. You can see that from the letters between the two of them. But,
well, you can be a more modern character like that.
Well, not many women.
Well, there is Julian Assange accuser who accused her of rape, who actually seduced her to her bed, and then claimed that he raped her. Mm-hmm. And even today he's saying in the newspaper that he's very upset that the Swedish government prosecution dropped the case, and yet he is the woman who said, if you want to destroy a man, accuse her of rape.
Yes, that is true.
So that's a very popular character.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that the Marquis de Merteuil has more male characteristics than female, or you would agree with that? She's very dominant, she wants to control, she is manipulative and full of vengeance.
Yeah,
we don't normally associate these characteristics with the majority of women. Would you agree?
I don't think you can make. There are lots of vicious people, vicious characters in every kind of people.
I think she was exceptional.
She was exceptional. The thing is that what is sort of revolutionary about this book, that it shows you how much meanness and vanity there is in love. And it's true that men usually vainer than women, but there is a great deal of vanity in it, and meanness.
Going back to Monsieur de Prévent, the reason that the Vicomte de Valmont supports her in her plan to bring him down is because Prévent is a libertine. He has a reputation for seducing a lot of women, and Valmont is exactly the same, but he wants to be top dog. So in a way, Prévent is a kind of rival. So he's quite glad to see him imprisoned.
Yes, there is a great deal of
envy.
There is a great deal of envy and vanity in love, and I think you find all the negative things about love and how people misuse love in order to torment each other. People did not get rid of their sadistic instincts simply by being also in love. They use love to torment themselves. And But still, the greatest discovery of this book is that the man who thought that he can abuse this woman and insult her and say she no longer loves her, and then turns out that, and only when he destroys her and drives her mad, does he realize that he loved her when it is too late.
She's probably the only woman that he genuinely loved. All the other women were just sexual conquest that he could build his reputation upon.
So in that sense, it is very much for people who are afraid to have powerful emotions and would like to preserve their freedom by not really being committed to anybody. So I think if you read this book, although it's about the 18th century before the French Revolution, you would find lots of characters and your own experiences a great deal. Whenever you were hurt by vanity, or whether you yourself showed vanity, that it is it's all in this book. And what is interesting, then when Valmont, the hero, I mean the principal character, egged on to insult the woman he loves, thinks that he will be able to get back to her, because he was vain enough to think that, she loves me, and so I can abuse her and she will still love me. That, I'm afraid, is also a very common experience of a great many women, and there's a few men, that you are being hurt, and the people who hurt you think that, oh, you will still love me. And that's not so. The great tragic character of this novel is the 22-year-old wife who goes mad when he realizes the woman doesn't love, the man doesn't love her. And it's a very tragic thing. I wish I could read you the letter. I never read it without crying. I read this book about 5 times, and I always cried on it. On the woman who is destroying that. Again, because there is, it's not romanticized. It is just put down as it is. So all the dirt about love, real love and fake love, you will find in this book, more than in any other book in history.
One thing that this book doesn't have is humour, but there's one little suggestion on it. When the Marquis writes a very long letter to the Vicomte, to Valmont, explaining how she developed herself. She calls herself a self-made woman, and she's incredibly well-read, very well-read, but she reads to find out. She knows nothing about sex, but she's avid for information. Do you remember, she goes to a confessor, a priest, and she confesses that she's had sex. And the priest tells her that is a very big sin. And she thinks, well, if it's a very big sin, the pleasure must be immense. That's the only little suggestion of humour I can get, but that's a wonderful letter, actually, that she writes. Yeah. That's the other thing about Laclos. All these letters, different characters, and the character comes out through the way he writes the letter. You know, Cecile writes, she's a very young girl, she's innocent, she's slightly frivolous, and that comes out, it comes across as a young person. Of course, the Marquis is well-read, very measured. I think that is a real quality that the writer has, Laclos, that he can bring out the characters through the way he writes the different letters.
Yes, that is true. But there is really nothing that can be said about it which would be as useful as if you reading it. If you ever have been in love, ever suffered about love, you ever hurt or you ever hurt somebody, you will find this book is full with things which you yourself, you and your friends have experienced. So next time we're going to go to Gulliver's Travel.
Jonathan Swift.